The grip on his throat eased a little, and he managed to get in a gasp of air. His attacker dragged him away from the abbey, lifting him as if he were no more than a stick of wood, and took him across the abbey churchyard. With every step, there came that horrible scraping sound. Shk, 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 shk. They came out of the shadow of the abbey into the moonlight. The punk twisted his head around enough to see his captor, and wished he hadn't. He was held by the neck in an unbreakable grip, by something that had the general outward appearance of a woman. One who stood 7 feet tall, and whose skin was grey and smooth, but weirdly mottled, as if thousands of tiny fossilized shells had been merged together and made into dark marble. Living stone, if that was possible. Her fierce, colourless eyes moved, and her mouth twitched, apparently in irritation. She was clad in a simple cross-hatched pattern dress, with a high waist and puffed sleeves, all also of impossibly flexible moving stone. She had no feet. Her legs ended in broken stumps at the ankle, jagged breaks. And that was why she made the horrible sharpening noise as she moved, stone upon stone. The grey stone woman stopped in the full light of the moon and shook out the folded paper she held in her right hand. An old, time-yellowed paper or parchment, the only thing about her that was not stone. It was a map of some kind. For a moment, he hoped she might let go of him in order to unfold it properly. But she didn't. She shook the map once, twice, then held it up so the moonlight fell on it, and it began to glow with its own radiance. As she did so, the punk caught a metallic, sulphurous whiff. For a moment, he thought it somehow came from the illuminated map. Then he heard water gushing, and saw wafts of steam rising from the narrow gaps between the paving stones. The stone woman opened her mouth and emitted a growl, the first even faintly human noise she'd made. "You trespass on my domain," said another woman, one the punk couldn't see. There was a lot of steam around now, and the iron stench was strong. Hot water rose up between the flagstones, water stained an orange-red, a sudden flood that streamed around the marble woman's sharp stumps. Everything became cloaked in steam, and the punk blinked and grimaced, trying to see. But there was only more strangeness, a figure appearing with a face of beaten gold upon a vaguely defined body woven of steam and rusty water. The golden face was curiously familiar. He had seen it somewhere before. "I have taken my prey, and now I will depart," said the stone woman. Her voice was very strange, echoing and distant, as if it came from a hole beneath the ground. "I did not give you leave to hunt here. You were warned and punished when last you trespassed on my domain," said the golden face. Her hair was plaited into a kind of crown, and unlike the marble statue, the golden mouth did not move when she spoke, as if it were only a mask for the watery creature behind it. "Besides, he is mine." The marble statue did not answer. "I am?" asked the punk. "Travis Selly," said the steam-wreathed apparition. "Your mother gave you 6pence to throw in my waters when you came to worship me on your 7th birthday. I did?" squeaked Travis. The only waters he could remember throwing any kind of money into was on a trip to the Roman baths just nearby. It came back to him that his mother had given him a 6pence. He had wanted to keep it for lollies, but she made him throw it in. A real silver 6pence. It had been a few years before the change to decimal currency and the dull 5p coins. They'd had afternoon tea in the pump room afterward. He hadn't thought of it as worshipping anyone, but he suddenly remembered where he'd seen the golden face before. It was a mask on display in the museum part of the Roman baths. The stone woman suddenly swung Travis towards the map, throwing him at it as if it were a window. As she let go, he felt a moment of elation that he would escape after all, until he found himself